Hi, this is Eddie with a Mindful Emergence, where Margaret and I are in the waking up business. And among those things that we offer is information related to the conscious use of plant medicine. And this particular video is about cannabis. And I want to share something with you that you may never have heard before. I can tell you that I've had a relationship with cannabis since about 1967 or 68, not continuously, but at various periods of my life. And this is something that I only started doing recently, but I really, really suggest you consider doing this after you smoke if you want to use this plant intentionally. And this is what I do. So when I smoke, first thing I do is I make sure I've got about at least 10 minutes to myself undisturbed afterwards. And as soon as I finish smoking or vaping, I sit and close my eyes and I spend time in what some people might call meditation. Now, I tend to avoid using that word because some people have some strange ideas about meditation. They think that the purpose of it is to change your experience or get somewhere else. That's not how I use meditation. It's not how I teach meditation. If you want to do it that way, that's your call. But what this is doing is it's not wanting to change our experience. It's learning to explore our experience. It's a way of checking in. So once I smoke, now I might be out in nature, I might be in the woods, I find a place to sit down, I might be home out on our balcony or in a recliner, and I sit back and I close my eyes and I bring my attention to my breath. And I just started noticing, I start noticing each inhale and each exhale and just stay with that. Now, I'll point out that if you want to have music while you're doing this, that's your prerogative. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend like Pink Floyd or Fish or something like that. Something more sedative, something like maybe a Carlos Nakai flute or something very relaxing. Maybe some Bach cello, for example, would be very nice. Most of the time, I don't even have any music. So I'm lying back, sitting back, and I put my attention on my breath and I wait and see what happens. What do I notice in my body? One of the things about cannabis that's so amazing and so helpful is it's very somatic. It helps us come into our body. And from my point of view, it does it in a gentle way. Now, that may have something to do, that could be influenced by your choice of what medicine you use. And that now we're getting into terpenes and cannabinoids. But if you learn how to use the right flower for having the effect that you want, this can be really profound. So typically what I do when I do this is I just initially approach it like my standard meditations. I just follow the breath with my attention, breathing in, breathing out, not changing the breath, just following it with my attention. And then when I notice my thoughts drift off or I'm distracted in another way, maybe by a sound, I just come back. So I do that. I just continually notice what arises and return back to the breath gently each time. So I'll do that for a while. But then there are other things I might explore. One of the things you can explore, and I recommend trying this at some point, is using the breath in a dynamic way. So start maybe pushing the breath a little bit, like instead of just breathing normally, just like increase the intensity of it and see what happens. And typically, what will happen is you will notice some effects in your body, and it may also notice your thoughts, your thought processes. So I might start breathing a little bit more strongly, a little bit more firmly, just breathing in, breathing out, and work with that and see what happens. And you can actually speed the breath up and do something similar to holotropic breath work. But now you're really getting into another realm. So I would recommend that you just kind of keep it fairly low key, all right, and not do the really intense type of breathing unless you're prepared for the possibility of what those results will be. So you can do that. Another thing you can do is something that's not typically done in meditation is you can chase the thoughts. So maybe I've been watching the thoughts, letting them dissipate, come back to the breath, come back to the breath, but maybe something comes up a certain thought, especially if it's a creative idea, and I just run with it. I just run with it. I just say, let me go with this. Let me see where this goes. And it can turn into something really quite remarkable, almost like a journey in a way. And just allow it to unfold and play with it and so on. Um, these are different things that you can try. But throughout this process, I keep my eyes closed. I'm in a relaxed position. I might do a little bit of movement. That can be really interesting too. Or maybe I'm in the recliner and I'm moving my legs a little bit, noticing what that feels like. But rather than smoking and then immediately going and turning on the TV or talking to somebody or getting involved in some kind of process, whether it's cleaning the house or picking up your guitar or whatever, any of these things are valid things to do after you've smoked if that's what you feel like doing. But this is different. This is taking time out for you. And I'll give you another example. For example, one of the things I like to do is when I cook dinner late in the afternoon, I actually like to put my meal together after smoking just a little bit. I get everything ready, get all my stuff out on the counter, and I kind of look through, all right, what do I plan on doing here? And then what I'll do is I'll sit and take about 15 minutes after I smoke. So if I want to start cooking at 4:30, then I smoke at 4:15. Give myself about 15 minutes just to be with that, and then I will get up and do my cooking or whatever it is I want to do. And here's what I will tell you. If you do what I'm suggesting, it can dramatically change your entire experience. It can influence the entire arc of your experience. If you don't believe me, try it. And you might fall in love with this practice as I do. Virtually every time we smoke, whether it's individually or if we're together, whatever the case may be, we almost always take at least 10 minutes to sit with it, close our eyes, and feel into this and explore how this incredible plant can impact us when we bring our attention to it in a conscious, curious way. So if you've had experience with this, please put comments in there. I love talking to other people about how they use this plant intentionally and hearing their experience. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.